what's up? Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good?
Keys, I do have a question for you. What will stop DAOs from suffering the same fate as NFTs?
I think just hacking and legal issues. I think the value of DAOs is completely different than NFTs because of the ecosystem attached to it. Like there's not a DAO that's going to be created without a value proposition and a reason. The difference between NFTs is people were jumping in without understanding it whatsoever. You kind of got to understand the DAO in order to jump in. It's like choosing your club, right? So it's like, I'm going to get this DAO because it gives me access like Soho Club, right? And they have something like that in New York right now, where it's like I get access to creative space. So I'm getting in this DAO with the value up front. The thing about NFTs, the value was a roadmap. It was a promise. None of it was up front. So also with, they start making billions of dollars and challenging corporations and new things of business and capitalism and democracy. Now that's when regulation will start looking at them to try to figure out, is this legal? What is this space? Should we create a new rule for it? Right? Well, most people don't know that Ethereum fork first happened because of a DAO called the DAO. The DAO was hacked. That DAO was hacked, and I think like something around $10 to $40 million was stolen, and they created the fork so that they can give people their money back, right? So that was one of the first DAOs, and so after that, you had the legal issues that come in and the security issues come in. So now you got these DAOs have some of the best legal teams, and now they are making sure that they are safer now, because that was one of the biggest risks, because you have basically transparency. Everybody can see what you're doing. Your code is out there, right? That's dangerous. Typically, companies want their secrets private, right? So I think that the way people are going to use DAOs, number one, it allows you to skirt around investors having, you certified investors and all of that SEC shit. So people would like to use DAOs for that because we're trying to figure out how to get the poor man rich and how to get around these rules. But SEC gonna look at that and say, we don't like y'all creating things to get around us. So naturally, they gonna go after some of these DAOs. I think some of them gonna be okay. It just depends on the business model of it. If you got a business model based on philanthropy, hey, it's transparent. Whoever gives money to this DAO, the BLM was a DAO, everything would have been transparent. Nobody would have had a problem. The people would have voted and say, yo, we want schools, right? We don't want money to go over here. We don't want money to go over here. And account for every single dollar spent, and they would have had a say so for every single dollar lent. You understand me? And I think that it creates a much more transparent world.
19 Keys, the greatest thought leader of the generation. I think one of the aspects that gets overlooked when it comes to you is your strategic planning. And you can hear about it when you talked about the DAO, even in the conversations we have, you always have a plan about something. And I'm looking now behind you with the chart paper. Can you take us through that process when you have an idea to the execution of it with any endeavor you have, whether it's high level conversation or some of the other things you partake in? What's that process like for you from idea to execution?
Man, that's a good question. I first of all, I try to get a vision for everything first. If I don't have a clear vision for it, I don't feel like I'm gonna move and I'm not gonna do anything. It gotta be a vision of where it's exciting me. The moment that I get excited about something, then I can execute. So I get excited, I write down what that idea is, and I start researching. What do I need in order to get this idea and bring this to life? What's gonna be my hurdles? What's gonna be my challenges? I try to imagine the road ahead. And I imagine that as big as possible. Like, I don't want to imagine, my success is, I get $100,000. What it will be like if I got $1 billion? What it will be like if I got 100 million views? So what will be the roadmaps, the challenges that will come ahead of that? And then how can I innovate in a way where I'm not doing something like somebody else, right? That's another one of my fears. I never want to do nothing like anybody else because then I don't need to exist. There's already somebody else doing it. If I'm doing it, how can I improve upon the space and how can I inspire others that come in after me? So a person may look at me as competition, but then they also look at me as inspiration. That has to be both of them built into it. So let's say high level conversations. I was talking to a Metri. I said, listen, when we shoot this, the production has to be on point. We have to shoot this like a documentary style. We have to shoot this in a way where it's visually appealing. We're going to be given high level knowledge and information wanting people to sit down for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to intake this. And we have a culture that's built on entertainment, not information. So we got a hard road ahead. How do you get people to sit down? We have to make it entertaining, right? So by making it entertaining at the same time, we got to add in a fashion component. We got to be fly. What is the set going to look like? What's the production going to look like? If I look at controversial Kanye West, if I look at, way he did his sets, though, when he came out and he said that I want to be the next Disney, right? People looking at him like he was crazy. But then he started doing these wild sets. His production was over the top, right? And it changed the game, right? So I've looked at it. I say, how do I create a set? How do I do production that's going to change the game? Because I don't often want to listen to somebody's interview or conversation or content. It's not that the value isn't there. The production isn't there. So it's disrespectful that a rapper go spend $100,000 on a video to get you to watch it for 3 minutes. But you want somebody to watch something for an hour and you won't put no budget behind it, no production, no assistance, no nothing. And you want people's attention that has an attention of a fish. So no. So when I get into a new space, I'm going to study it. Who's my competition? My competition is never the peers that are cross-lateral. It's always vertical. It's always people at the top, right? So I'm looking at who is the top of this space. What are they doing? Because they are actually creating the barriers for competition, doing things that I can't afford and doing things that I can't do. So I'm looking at the top in that space first as competition. I do all my market research. Then I'm doing peer-to-peer research. I'm asking questions. Yo, Rashad, what you think about this? Yo, Ian, what you think about this? Yo, Troy, what you think about this? I remember talking to Gilly, asking Gilly and talking to Gilly about, $1 million worth of game. And he gave me $1 million worth of game. So therefore, I want to build it. So if you build any company, you should build it to think about, can you sell it? Because if you're thinking about, can you sell it, you're building it from a standpoint of, I'm putting equity and assets into this. So it increases the value of it. So market research, vision, looking at top level competition, innovation, and how can I change the world, I think are my fundamentals about any idea.
How do we get rich in 2023? Let's get right to the spicy, yet informative talk.
About trading. Listen, man, there's so much money in the market right now, and people are disrespectful to trading right now. Also, I always say, I remember I said it maybe 5 years ago in Alabama, I said, if the market goes down, entrepreneurs are going to want to figure out, how do I keep making the same amount of money? Everybody can trade. So consulting people that don't know how to make money is key, but never consult saying that this is what I would do. You have to consult from a place of, this is what I am doing.
I am doing currently, yes.
If anybody want to increase their content engagement and they want to give better advice, only speak from what I am doing, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can prove out models and then teach other people those models, you will become valuable in a time where where they feel like they have to decrease spending, right? What do you want to have for your business? Like even inventory strategies are key, right? Inventory strategy, should you reduce stock levels? Should you raise stock levels? How do you find your balance? In a downturn economy, sales are slow, inventories can build up. You understand me? Customers have less money. They spend on non-essential items while prices are increasing, right? So if you're holding a large amount of excess inventory, it can cause problems going into a recession. So carrying inventory costs money that cannot be invested in other areas. It doesn't leave room for flexibility in changing markets, right? But if you reduce market too much, then it's going to be hard for you to expand, because if your competition doesn't have that product and you swoop in and be like, well, I still got inventory, right? Now you have the opportunity to expand and take on a new customer base. So for me, it's finding that balance of what is your plan for expansion in 2023? Look at when you're looking at your business, you got to look at what is the most important things that people spend money on, right? Groceries, utilities, education, childcare, clothing. Those are the top 5, right? Then you got holidays, entertainment, and dining out. Those are the bottom 3 of least important things. So if you are in an industry that is about dining out, entertainment, and holidays, people feel like they have less money. Entertainment is different. Content entertainment, people want escapism at a higher level. Yes. So people are afraid of getting rid of their Amazon. People are afraid of getting rid of their Netflix because they need that entertainment in their life to take them away from the seriousness of everything that's going on in the world that's going to increase stress, anxiety, and depression. So now you are at this point of making sure that you have a business model that is based on needs and wants, right? Like things that people actually want, not what you want to sell, but what the customer want. Then how are you going to expand your business? Look at varying your product lines. Go look at what the competition is doing very well, right? What people really want, what's still selling, and you want to get into new lanes. 43% of small business owners are in fear that inflation is the biggest risk to their business. Fear in business is not good. You start making decisions based on fear, it's the worst thing that you can do. So you want to build up cash reserves. You want to go on the offensive. You want to attack. You want to move into new markets. You want to reshape your business proposition, your value proposition rather, and you want to maintain customer service. The markets will not always be down and they will reward you, right? For going on the offensive, increasing your customer service, and going on the attack while they're down. So when shit is down, go up. Ask yourself this last question. What is the one skill that is giving you an ROI right now? What is the one skill that's giving you the best ROI, and what skill can you learn to give you a greater ROI? You understand me? That is a very key thing that you need to think about. When you're looking at your employees in your company right now, you may want to fire some people because you want to decrease spending.
At least 25%.
That is very important right now. So if you fire people, you still need those needs in that business. Some people you're going to realize like, wow, you're not actually effective at doing anything for the business in that sense, right? It may feel good. Like him 500, I had a conversation with him. We was talking about people that are good for the culture of business and people that are effective for the business, right? Sometimes people stick around because they are effective for the culture of the business, right? But they're not effective at actually being producers in the business. And so you have to grade them people to make sure that you have solid people on the team. Eliminate unused services, downsize office space. You understand me? If you need to get a better working model, invest more into marketing, increase automation. You understand me? Don't stop spending money, but spend money in the right places, right? So that you can expand. Don't ditch automation, increase automation so that you can get more for your money, right? Do not take any unnecessary high cost risks. You want to do everything that is planned out and cost efficient, right? And you want to make all of your decisions based on the financials, your analytics, and none of them are complete. This is the most important. Make none of your decisions based on fear, right? Make sure you tap into 19 keys.
This that Red Panda Anthem. Ian, what's up? This that Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good? Red Panda Anthem. Whole point going up. I know they can't stand